We're going to talk about place value today, and we're going to start out with vocabulary. I have 3 vocabulary words that I want you to remember. I have place value, value, and expanded form, which I also call expanded notation. Place value, the definition I want you to remember is the value given to a digit by its position in a number. So the position where that number is your place value. The value is a number amount or the worth of that digit in the larger digit. Expanded form, or I call it expanded notation, is the representation of a number as a sum that shows the value of each digit. Sounds kind of hard to understand, but we're going to go over that in just a moment. Alright, you can see here I have a place value chart. The one thing that we're going to add in 5th grade are going to be the decimal place value, and we'll go over that in just a minute. So let's go over what you already know. Right here we have the ones, tens, and the hundreds, and those are specific place value areas for numbers. Notice I'm separating my thousands and my hundreds, tens, and ones by a comma. You group those by 3 and you separate them by a comma. If you move to the left, you have another section. Notice they're all in red. We have the thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s. All right, so I have a group of 3 here. I'm going to separate it by a comma. In my next section, I have millions, 10 millions, and 100 millions. Now, in the 5th grade, you go all the way up to billions, but I'm going to stop there for now. Now, let's talk about the decimals. All of these numbers that you see here that you already know are whole numbers. Now, if you go to the right of the ones place, then you're not going to have a whole number. You're going to have part of a number. And we use parts of a numbers when we're working with fractions, also with decimals. So I'm not going to separate here by a comma, but I'm going to use a decimal point. The first place to the right of the ones place value we call the tenths place value. You can represent this as a decimal. You can also represent it as a fraction. And if you're working with tenths, you know that the denominator in that fraction is going to be a 10. If you move one more space to the right, you come to the hundredths. The hundredths place can be represented not only by a decimal but also a fraction. The denominator for hundredths would be 100. So let's move one more place to the right, and we're going to be in the thousandths place. And again, the thousandths place can be represented not only by a decimal but a fraction also. If it's written as a fraction, that denominator will be 1,000. Now, I have a number written here down at the bottom, and each digit is in a specific place value. And if you look at this number, I have 291,034,152. And when I come to my decimal point, I'm going to use the word and 643 thousandths. All right, now I have a number here, and what we want to look at, I have some digits that are underlined. What is the place value of the underlined digit? I don't want to know what the digit is. I don't want to know the value, but what place is that digit representing? All right, if you look at my number, I have 291,034,152 and 643 thousandths is the number I just used a minute ago. Notice my digit 9 is underlined. What place is that number 9 located in? This is in the 10 millions place value. All right, look at my digit 4. My 4 is in the thousands place. My 2 is in the ones place. Now let's specifically look at the decimals. I underlined my 6, my 4, and my 3. This is the tenths place. The 4 is in the hundredths place. And the 3 is in the thousandths place. So when I'm asking you what is the place value, I want to know, is it the hundreds? Is it the tens? Is it the thousandths place? That's the information I'm looking for. All right, now let's switch to the value. The value is given to a digit by the position in the number. All right? Now, I have here, what is the value of the 9? Notice I have a few numbers again underlined. My 9. I want to know how much is that 9 worth in this particular number. My 9, the value of my 9 is 90 million. Okay, that's how much this digit 9 is worth in this number. All right, let's look at the 5 here. This 5, the value of 5 is 50 in this number. All right, let's look at the decimals. The value of my 6 is 6/10. The value of my 4 is 4/100. And the value of the digit 3 is 3/1000. So when I'm asking you and talking to you about the value, I want to know exactly how much is that digit worth in the larger number. All right, one more thing we're going to do today is expanded notation. And notice I have a number here. I have 34,152 and 643 thousandths. So for an expanded notation, you're going to break down the value of each digit and you're going to add them together to equal and to represent the larger number. And here's how we do it. I'm going to take this digit 3. The value is 30,000. So I'm going to break it down for its value. I'm going to add it to the next digit. What is the value of the 4? 4,000. I'm going to add it to the next digit, which is 1, and the value is 100, plus 50, plus 2. Now I'm going to add my decimals also. How do you write 6/10? Decimal point 6. 400, decimal point 04. And 3/1000, I'm going to add that, decimal point 003. So this is how to take a larger number and break each digit down into its value by adding each value together to equal the larger number. So what if I give you the value of all those digits and I want you to write the larger number? All right? So what would my number look like? What I'm going to do is I'm going to see what is my largest place in place value. And if you notice here, I'm going to the 300,000s. So I've written my lines down here, and then I'm going to go back and fill it in. So I know exactly where my places are in this particular number. 300,000, this is my 100,000s place, so I'm going to put my digit 3 there. 60,000, I'm going to put my 6 here in that 10,000 spot. 4,000 in the 4,000 place value spot. 200 plus 90 plus 8. And my decimal point plus 3/10 plus 600 plus 4,000.